Then let's start the next topic, ethics in research. Okay. I mean, it's so important that right now NIH, universities, everybody is trying to, there are so many ethical things that are happening. So to give you an idea, we are interviewing faculty candidates in our university. I'm a search committee for the department chair position. There is a question on ethics even in this interview, that give us an example of your ethical, like how did you make an ethical decision and all that, and don't think only we have to do ethics. Like, we all are doing ethics every day. Okay, can you guys give me some examples of ethical dilemma, or where all ethics are important? Yeah. It's not about your cause, but it's about not being honest to your time and effort. Yes, ethics in exam. What else? With your experiments. With your experiments. Big example. Authorship on a paper. Very good example. Yes. What else? Acknowledgement also. Acknowledgement also. What else? Fake praise to someone. Fine, it's not completely ethic, right? Like, if I say, oh, you did a good job, even if you didn't do a good job, it's not completely ethics, right? Okay, what else? Novelty in our work is not ethics. See, if you do a really amazing work, you can publish in Nature. If your work is mediocre, you can publish in a lower impact journal. You're not being unethical. Yes, if you're lying in your paper to make it look like a great work, then it's unethical. But every idea cannot be Nature level, right? So that's not ethics as per. What else? For animal experiments, you need to stick to the protocols that are given because they should not suffer. Kind of a sacrifice. Animal, yes, very. Yes. Animals or human subjects, ethics is very important. What else? During recommendation. During recommendation. Of course, yes. So for example, when we are doing NIH review session, right? We are reviewing NIH proposals, or if a manuscript comes to me for review, ethics is very important. I cannot use my bias. Oh, I don't like this student, so I don't like this researcher, I'm going to reject the paper. Yes, that's very important. You have to separate your science and your personal thinking about something and just look at the science. What else? Confidentiality is very important. One example I said is when NIH review sessions happen, you cannot say, oh, this particular person was saying bad about your proposal outside to anybody. I mean, there are serious consequences for these things. Sometimes, students don't realize cheating can have so much consequences. I didn't know that, but I found out that if you are caught cheating in India, you guys know this probably better than me, and it goes on your record somehow that you were using UFM. Yes. So, I worked at University of Michigan, so we say UFM. So it's like UFM, right? So unfair means here. So you cannot apply for, like, it'll hurt your future for a lot of things. You cannot go to a lot of places now if that's on your record. So there are like very serious consequences for for any ethics related stuff. Another example of ethics, can you think of anything else? Otherwise, plagiarism, yes, I was going. Okay, what else can you think of? Yeah, I mean, that's very serious not plagiar, but that's very serious ethic problem, right? What else? Yeah, so I mean, racism is wrong in so many different ways. But again, from ethics wise also, you're not looking at the science, you're looking at other factors. That's definitely wrong. So another ethics related thing that I have to deal with also is I have a startup company, right? So people who have startup company, they have to very clearly tell university that, hey, I have a startup company. You cannot just keep it a secret and not tell the university. A conflict of interest, right? Because so ethics, conflict of interest, it's all I'm covering here. So because there is no problem in having conflict, but you manage the conflict. Another big ethics and conflict related thing is your relative is your mentee, right? That's a big ethics and conflict of interest. So in India also, maybe these are the rules, not allowed. Yes. So let's say you cannot have a relationship with the person you're supervising. In both ways, one, you can hurt them or help them. So if relationship is not working well, you might be hurting them. If relationship is great, you are favoring them or helping them. So that needs to be very clearly told. And most times you are not the supervisor of that person anymore. So for example, if let's say you did PhD under me and now you are applying, and we are at DTU, you are applying for faculty position. I should not be involved in the hiring committee at all, right? I should be totally out of it, because if I liked you or I didn't like you, I can affect your hiring at the university. I should be totally out of this thing and let the department handle it. So that's one example. For my startup company, I have to inform the university that I have a startup company. And then there is like lot of documents, do's and don'ts that we have to keep in mind. For example, I cannot just, let's say my startup company needs some testing done, tensile testing. And now I am just testing it in university. That's not allowed. But you can do it. Everything is allowed if you do it in a proper way. But if I have a grant from NIH, I do a subcontract of the work to University of Georgia that, hey, here is $10,000 to University of Georgia for doing this work. Then it's fine. But I cannot use my lab in the university to benefit my company. And some things are not so easy to understand. I'm learning a lot. I cannot let my lab people go and use my company equipment also. And I didn't understand this first, because I'm like, okay, it's my company, my instruments. I'm not charging university to use it. It's free. But somebody explained it to me then. See, the good thing about US is people give you a good reason. So they said, okay, if let's say a student goes to the company and get hurt, now who's liable? That's a university student, but there's an accident while using something, but they were working in your company now. But why were they in the company now? The question comes. They are university student. Why are they using, or while using the equipment, if they break the equipment, and tomorrow I'll say, hey, University of Georgia, your student broke my equipment. So university said, these are the reasons why we are careful that there is a boundary. You cannot do this. Another example is, I think it's still challenging. And I was going to talk about that. Company gets some funding, I can subcontract to the university and get the work done. That's easy. But let's say my university lab gets some funding And now I want to say, hey, I want to give $10,000 to my company to get the work done. That's challenging because I think not even challenging, that's I think not even allowed. I have never tried it. Always it's the other way because now I might be biased. I will be biased, right? I want to help benefit my company and I'm using university resources to benefit the company. I think subcontracting to other places is easy. Like if I have, let's say, some work needs to be done, mechanical testing. We don't have equipment in the lab. I can contact a different lab or different university in US and do it. But sending the money to my company, I think it's probably impossible. I have never tried and I can see I should not even ask those type of things. You should not, another conflict example, I should not be purchasing things from my family members. So let's say my university has, see, a lot of things are common sense, but a lot of things so even if you have the best price, I think, don't even do that. So let's say my lab needs to buy some chemical. My sister or brother or parents have a company that they are getting the chemical and I can buy it from them. Now that can also raise a lot of red flags. Okay, if the price difference is huge, maybe I can contact the university. I need to take special permission. I need to show quotes that, hey, this is for $5,000 from this company, this company, this company. I can get it for $2,000 from my sister's company. Maybe they will allow me or not, but you cannot just do it without asking for permission, and this is too much conflict going on now. I have also heard, I don't know how true it is or not, that medical doctors should not have stocks. We are good. I have not. Yeah, this is the slide. I'm just talking too much and then we will move with the slides. Medical doctors should not have stocks. Let's say hip implant company. And I'm a doctor who is doing surgeries, putting these implants. And guess what? I have bought a lot of stocks in that particular company. That's a conflict. Even though when I bought it, I was not even thinking about all these things. But all this is, you are personally trying to benefit yourself by trying to play with the system. Another thing, I'm just telling you, sometimes we don't think about these things, okay? When we publish papers, we write in the paper that I have a startup company and I have a conflict of interest. Because if I'm showing how amazing nitric oxide catheter is, indirectly it can benefit me personally through my startup company. So I'm informing people that, hey, I have the startup company, so that people can think, oh, maybe this person is biased or not. You're just, again, it's nothing wrong. You're not lying about data. You are just being transparent that I have a startup company, I'm reporting this data. You're just being honest and not like on the back you have a company and you're doing things. So just want to be honest. Okay, let's go through some slides. Data acquisition, management, sharing, ownership, all this can be conflict of interest, and ethics. Conflict of interest and commitment, human subjects, animal welfare, research misconduct, fabrication or falsification of data, publication, authorship, personal, professional, financial conflict. Oh, another one. I cannot review my mentor's proposals at NIH. They cannot review my proposals in NIH. I don't know if there is a rule for 10 years or beyond, or maybe the rule is if you did a PhD with somebody, you might never be able to review. So you have to be careful about all these things. If I have a collaborator and now NIH invites me that Hitesh come and review the proposal, I cannot review the proposal of my collaborator. Another thing that happens in the review panel at NIH is, so before the panel happens, the scientific review officer will email all of you to say, do you have any conflict with any of these proposals? Right? So for example, you and I have a collaboration going on, and we have published papers together and we have an active grant going on. You will tell the program officer, hey, Hitesh, this Hitesh's proposal, I have a conflict because we have an active grant together. So what will happen on the, you will not get my proposal to review, plus on the day of discussion, she will have to leave the room so that she cannot see who is saying good or bad things about my proposal and tell me. So she has to leave the room. Even more, what they do is, if let's say you are a reviewer on the study section and you submit a proposal now to be evaluated in this study section. So what NIH does is, there is a special study section, they move her proposal to that study section. The reason is, she's reviewing other people's proposals. But what if she's giving bad score to others so that her proposal can look better? So if you are a panelist in a study section or review panel, your proposal will never get discussed in that study section.
As you were showing your project, you mentioned some OPMs. Now what, so the other people will let you know that they have worked with your OPIs as well. Will that be a conflict of interest?
Yes.
Also, the question is that if you are right, that you use Professor Baltimore's name, right?
Professor Bartlett.
Bartlett.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
The father of technique.
Yes.
So will it influence the funding?
Yes. So what will happen is,
because he is now not working. But
no, he's still working. Yes, he's still working. But what will happen is, let's say when I submit proposal and this is a study section, the program or SRO will tell you guys that, hey, in this proposal, Hitesh Handa, Jason Laughlin, and Robert Bartlett are the people. If you have conflict with any one of them, not just me, because if Dr. Bartlett is a co-investigator and you like him a lot, or you have worked with him, you have friendship or whatever, now you might give him a good score and it'll get funded. You are benefiting your friend now. So that's what they want to avoid. Then there can be plagiarism, peer review, collaborations, all that. There can be a lot of, some are very easy to find, where is a conflict, where is ethic question. Some are just get very complicated gray area actually. Okay, so I wrote here. So lot of these slides I found from Vanderbilt website. So I just, because ethics questions are lot of time very similar, but from Vanderbilt University there were like lot of good ethics slides that I found from there. Falsification, fabrication, plagiarism, all scientific misconduct, right? You're just falsifying data. You killed 90% bacteria, but you are saying, oh, I killed 99% bacteria. You're falsifying the data. Fabricating the data. Let's say I interviewed only 100 people, but I'm saying I interviewed 1,000 people. I just made up 900 people that I interviewed. That's totally fabricating. And plagiarism is copying something, somebody else's work or your own work. I have tried my best. So I have a lot of different case studies and different examples. So I removed the names. But I think on Google, all the names are available also, but I just didn't want to talk about the names. That's not the point. I'm just telling you the issues. Between 1992 and 2001, 248 different research institutes reported instances of research misconduct. Like, for example, okay, there are just numerous things can happen. A student was caught cheating. Now ethical questions, right? What do we do now? Okay, your heart says, okay, let it go. It'll hurt the student's career. But now you all were studying and this one student cheated and got good score, am I being fair to all of you who studied? So now this is very, and I don't know see, some of these questions are so difficult, you don't even know what is the right answer. Okay, what if that student just cheated one time? They have never cheated in their life. Is it worth ruining their career now? And again, it's person to person thing. Some professors will be so strict, oh, you did it or whatever, that's it. Some will be like, okay, this is your warning, don't do it again. And I don't know what's the right answer, honestly. What do you guys think, actually? I don't know. And there might be so many things like this. I just thought of this very randomly, but you can think so many things that are just so, you just don't know. If you make a committee, there can be a huge discussion in the committee. Somebody will say, oh, well, that's not acceptable. Somebody will say, oh, it's okay, let it go. So, fabrication, intentionally creating records, right, that are not there. Interviewer completing questionnaire themselves, right? Preparing records, creating notes for a subject visit that never took place, right? So, can be a lot of fabrication examples. So I removed the names of these people. Actually, that's what I was doing yesterday. I just didn't want the names to be, but if you look, maybe they are available on Google. So this professor or scientist published more than 200 articles over 20 years of research. So very, very accomplished and big researcher. Had a reputation of leading authorities in the field, human obesity and aging. Was jailed for falsifying data in grant application. You see? So very serious consequences. I also remember, I don't remember everything, 2, 3, 4 years ago, some scientists from one of the Asian countries committed suicide, I think, because one of their Nature or Science or some really good paper, they found out the data was falsified and something like that, and the scientist committed suicide. Now, question is, why do you think it happens? Like, why do you think people are falsifying, or what are some of the reasons for falsifying or wrong data getting published?
Particularly in research, it's a very time-taking, resource-taking. So due to paucity of maybe time, fund, or resources to this, and maybe even if they are good, they are reputed names in their field or something, and they want to continue their trajectory, but somehow they're not able to come up with new ideas, not getting those kind of funds to maintain that trajectory. They resort to this.
I think you said it very nicely. I never used to say some people want to succeed and succeed very fast. That's very good you said, actually, right? I never said that like that, but now in future I'll use that. So there are a lot of reasons, right? One is assistant professors, they have to get promoted, they have to get tenured in US, maybe similar rule here. They are under a lot of pressure. They really need money and papers, otherwise they won't get, so not even, they want to succeed in that limited time. So that's one issue. And then you said it well, successful people are doing really well, but they want to keep growing and keep doing well. That can be another reason. But there is another reason. What is another reason? Sometimes professors might not even know that data is falsified. Right? You are doing PhD under somebody. They are not going and working in the lab every day, right? You are reporting them some data. And if you are lying, okay, sometimes it's easy to catch. If you're saying something really that has never, so in our lab, when somebody gives me really, really good result, I mean, I'm very happy, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, guys, I want to be, not that I'm not trusting you, I want to double check that this is the case, right? Because if we publish such a good result, and it's for some reason, not that you lied, What if you did the experiment wrong? And it was a fluke shot that or something happened that day that your data came really good. So we want them to repeat multiple times. Sometimes I even tell somebody that, hey, please don't feel bad. I'm not trusting you, but either your data is so good, can we ask this another student to repeat it? Reproducible, and you did make a mistake, sometime unknowingly. What if you are graduating, you are starting your PhD, you transferred knowledge, but in hurry, or you didn't transfer everything, right? And now you did some experiments, but you didn't know how to do it properly. As a PI, I am thinking, oh, you are well trained by Neha. Of course, you know what you're doing, but you missed some of the knowledge and you made a mistake unknowingly, right? And now the data is wrong, but I thought data is great, and we don't want to publish that type. So sometimes PI doesn't even know that data is wrong. And I feel a lot of time maybe PIs are not doing it on purpose. Students are also probably not doing it on purpose, but it's just sometimes I feel also that can happen is you got a really good data and you don't want to repeat it multiple times, right? You got good data, you are very happy that it worked, and you feel, oh, I'm not lying, this is not a fabricated data, I got it, I want to publish it. But I think your duty is to do N of 3, N of 4, N of 5 before you publish anything, until you get statistical significance before you report it.
Some data from some big website or something, which is okay. I mean, it is fine. But some journal have published that data, so I took it.
Yeah.
Then I did my research.
And now it didn't work.
And and there might be some changes, some problem with their data, but what I did was everything fine.
Yeah.
And I published the results what I got, and suppose I got good results and I published it. But the data is.
Yeah. So I feel, so there are two things now. Okay, so what I understand is you took published data, used it to do something and published a paper, but the data you initially took was wrong. So okay, your job is, first of all, if it was published data, you didn't know it was wrong, right? So at least I don't think so you did anything wrong. See, you thought, we do that all the time, right? Hey, this group published that zwitter ion is super hydrophilic. But in our work, when we make super hydrophilic, we test it again, right? In your field, I guess, if in the later time you find out that the first paper was wrong, maybe your duty is inform the journal and maybe retract your paper because you found out that that data was wrong that you used. So your paper is now wrong, but you are not at fault, I think, because you just trusted a published work and that's it. So you mean the data is gone? You found out that the data was wrong, or you didn't even find out it was wrong?
I didn't even find out.
See, if you don't find out, then what can you do? But if you find out that, hey, that paper got retracted because the data was wrong, and you use that data to publish your data, future scientists might go to your paper and do something with that, and now that can be bad. So if you find out that the data you used was wrong, you will have to, right? Because now your paper is not right information. It's not your fault, but it's a wrong information. Somebody else did it, and you got entangled in that. And yes, that's why I'm saying you are not to be blamed. But we don't want future people to refer to your paper and keep doing something wrong, right? Okay, we can stop here for lunch and then we will start the next session. But this is think of more ethical things. The more you talk, I think it's a better topic. So for discussion. Okay, thank you guys. That we can discuss. So this particular situation was 200 journal articles, 20 years of research, but falsifying data, fabricated data in 17 grant applications. So this particular person was barred for life from receiving any federal funds for research and was imprisoned for the fraud. So point being, any of these type of serious things can really lead to a lot of situations, you know. So this person fabricated interview data, and the research was funded by NIH. Now this person was debarred for 3 years from contracting or subcontracting with any US government agencies. Falsifying data, example, we talked a little bit, but can you guys think of something of falsifying data? Yeah. So now you are not making up data, but you are misrepresenting it, right? So backdating interviews or changing a subject's age, instead of 20 years, you are saying they were 40 years or whatever, right? Example, falsified data. This person, I removed the names, of course, falsified data in different manuscripts, citing NIH support and NIH grant applications. So they voluntarily excluded themselves for 10 years from getting funding, and 2 papers were retracted, 1 paper was withdrawn, figures were retracted from 3 different papers. So just things can get really serious, you know, for doing falsifying, fabricating and all that. Don't know actually. 2 papers were retracted, 1 was withdrawn. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. Is it possible that retracted it was published and they retracted it, and withdrawn is they had submitted it, and before it got published they withdrew the paper back? I think so. But point is, it's just serious, you know. Another example, phlebotomist at University of Oklahoma falsified research in study by substituting their own blood for 10 to 15 blood samples for a child study participants. And I mean, some of these things are not even gray area, like definitely this is wrong, right? Like it's not even question mark, or should I do this or this dilemma. Another example, between 1992 and 1995, they altered and fabricated data in permanent medical records, and falsified, fabricated data in 80% of the publications. Plagiarism. So multiple things here. Actually, I thought another thing. I think in India also, whatever work we are doing, it's a university property, right? When you graduate, your lab notebooks are not your property. They stay with the university. They are university's property, right? Okay. So copying somebody else is definitely wrong. You're plagiarizing. But after you have published something, it's even self-plagiarism also. You cannot say, oh, it was my paper, I published it, I can just copy paste the same language. Then it's self-plagiarism, and that's also a problem. Yeah, I don't know the rules there, how much is allowed or what is allowed. You have to just cite it. You cannot just make it look like, because now after you publish it, the rights have gone to that published, the journal.
We have to do the research paper. So also we cannot just copy paste our whole paper. We have to replace it. But there is a certain limit of self-plagiarism.
Okay, I don't know. So I can tell you in US what happens. if you have published papers, you can do a chapter style thesis. Each chapter is a paper. We can do that. Now, yes, you are kind of plagiarizing, but we take permission from the journal also, and you can just put your whole paper as your chapters. So that's why we always encourage students publish papers. If you are a first author on the paper, or depending on the university rules, you can write introduction chapter, you can write conclusion chapter, and you can put your paper number 1, 2, 3, 4 as your middle chapters. Okay. Off topic, a suggestion for new people who are doing their PhD, starting their PhD. Somebody gave this idea that when you're starting your PhD, always publish your work, or when you are evaluating data, with similar color scheme, so that at the end of your dissertation you are not having some papers with blue, green, yellow color and some are purple, red, orange color. You can pick a good scheme of colors. Like for us, let's say nitric oxide releasing materials. A student can do all nitric oxide releasing bars in green throughout the thesis. All anti-fouling technology they are using, zwitterion or hydrophobic or hydrophilic, all yellow color in the whole dissertation. So now if somebody is looking at your dissertation, there is a consistent theme going on. I know. I mean, I didn't know this idea too. But now I, yes. Okay. Another example, urology fellow from MD Anderson plagiarized 9 pages of a 21-page article on prevention of urological cancer. And for next 3 years, they've had some, whatever the punishment was.
So, I mean, the universities have allowed some percentage of it, but what's your take on this?
So first of all, okay, I'm no expert. I don't even understand AI very well, but I'll say one thing. Maybe scientific community as a whole needs to decide something, because if some people use AI, some people don't use AI, now that's a problem. Because if you are using AI, your documents can look much nicer than the ones who are not using AI. So either it has to be completely allowed or it has to be completely banned. I think it has a lot of scope to be used in a positive way. Like, when computer came, what if we had said, oh, we don't need computer. Oh, I love going to library. I'll just go pick up books from the library. We won't be able to find information so easily on computer, right? So I think it's a good thing if we know how to use it properly, if there is a proper do's and don'ts with AI. But it has to be, if it's allowed and you are not using it, you will be at a disadvantage. So there needs to be something there. I don't know about the field yet. The only thing can be, I feel, if I'm teaching a course and now students are using AI. I don't want to say such strong statement, untouched, okay? But, now we are more hands-on wet lab, right? Maybe there is a way to implement AI in some way, and maybe that's a cool field to move forward in, which I don't know yet, and maybe there'll be new funding opportunities. But right now, I don't know if I have to make a new coating. I have to make a new coating, right? But AI can help me if I say, find all anti-fouling coatings out there or something. Maybe it can help me do that literature search. But honestly, I don't know.
It was fine. When it comes to we see there is so much of animal ethics and restrictions, regulations involved. So what if an AI or a deep learning model is built in such a way that it takes into account of every nuances of a
Yes,
physiology, and then you can just test your
definitely.
vegetable in that, and you don't need animals.
Definitely. And I think that will happen. That will happen. We have not figured out how to do it, but yes, deep learning, machine learning, all that, if we can somehow implement, and
It
it,
can be a systems biology approach, mimic whole of the body data,
yes.
stuff like that.
And then of course we have to do animal work, we have to do in vitro
We can
work.
still do it, but much lesser.
It's helping us narrowing down to some final, yes.
Percentage of what to
Yes. Yes, it can help. Yeah. We have not done anything yet, but I would love to someday do something with, yeah. Okay, so next is uh, it's a good study. So the story was, okay. So a super famous scientist, published 1,000 papers. Like imagine 1,000 papers, right? Different level. Member of National Academy of Sciences, supervising. This is a very successful person. Another younger successful scientist goes to NIH and finds out that one of the syntheses that this person has mentioned, uh, the proposal has very similar language. I don't even want to have, let's just say, okay, I don't want to, okay, have any specific things there, I mean, that's fine. And it's okay. I mean, I'm still, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. A different one there, right? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Maybe we can go to the next slide. That's okay. And I think it's fine. It's okay. So this person finds out that there is a very identical. So let's just take example with you guys. Okay, she's a super successful scientist. Lot of papers, lot of patents, like really good. And then you go to NIH study section and find out that a project submitted by her in the panel has a similar language that you wrote in your proposal some time ago. Okay, so now the question is, how would you suggest that a younger scientist proceed with the concern, or would you think that that person should just ignore it? So you saw that this great scientist project that they have submitted to NIH for review has a language that you submitted a year or two ago. Now what would you do? First, this is the first question, that would you just let it go or would you do something? But that person is the best in your field, leader in your field. You are just a junior person, not trying to get better, right? Not so established yet. And what do you think? The second question is, what do you think is the reason that this happened?
First thing, like obviously, I guess I will admire the research they have been doing. But if I have submitted some work, or yeah, I would like you are telling, so I would definitely definitely go to NIH and ask them what should I do to just because my research is somewhat similar to what they have been proposing or and for the second question, I guess they have done so many research, they have published so many papers, so I guess because they know so much better than me in that field, so that idea would have struck their mind in coincidentally at the same time when it struck my mind. So
Sure.
I guess
But the question is, they wrote that idea same language that you had written. It's not just the idea. Okay, idea is nitric oxide plus zwitterion. That's one thing. But they are actually not just doing that, they are writing it in the language that she had submitted earlier.
Something the words not the nuts.
Yeah.
I believe you people have that.
And there is a high chance that I guess they will favor because the renowned scientist and she has published so many papers. So because her stand is so much high,
That fear will be there for the other person, right?
So I will be talking to this person first.
Okay.
The idea or the language is similar, how they did get it. Or I have submitted a project under them, but they are using it and they're not giving it to me. So I'll ask for the credit. If not, then I'll
Okay. So one person is saying they will go to NIH. One person is saying they will go to that distinguished big shot professor directly and try to talk with them. Okay, what else?
I found out that this is a good question. Similar to us because idea very
No. So the thing is, so let me explain this. Let me explain the situation, right? So you submitted a proposal to NIH a year ago. It didn't get funded. Now, when you went for the review cycle, you received a proposal to review same language for a part of the proposal that you had proposed a year ago.
if I'm in the committee, then I can say then and there only that it is very
To the committee. Okay, so that's great. So one person is saying they'll go to NIH. One person is saying they will bring this question, they'll bring this discussion in the committee. One person is saying that after the committee, because that person is not there, she is not here when the discussion is happening. She does not know who is reviewing her proposal, but the reviewers know whose proposal they are reviewing, right? So because the name will be written. I showed you R21 that Lachlan will do this, but Lachlan and me and Bartlett never found out who reviewed this. So in NIH publishes a roster of meeting that has, let's say, 30 names. That these 30 people were in the panel. But which 3 were the main reviewers, I will never find out. Okay. So one person said go to NIH person, one person says discuss in the committee, one person says go talk with that famous professor. Anything else? Others who are don't have any idea, or they don't want to have any additional idea, which idea they like the most. Yeah.
So, since topics coincidental in terms of ideation, but as you said, the language is dot to dot same for a particular para or something. So, maybe the best idea would be for that junior who is also a reviewer is directly approach the person after the meeting ends or something, and to know if his work was worthy enough to be quoted the same way as he did a couple of years back. And if so, maybe the renowned person can give some credits to the junior in that particular case. That would be the best way to move forward. Because putting a is commonly a foolishness because I'm very same field. But getting aligned or being attached to the same person as an assistant or something would be a better option. This is what
being unethical because of my own interest.
And here the stand is like the in the correct position I am because my paper is being copied or the language is
You will be credited for it. You will be in the work also.
why is the first question?
Okay. Others would say anything. What idea you like the most?
सर बेसिकली रिव्यूअर्स जस्ट थिंक ऑफ दैट कि पेपर कैसा आया है कैसा बन रहा है तो पेपर गलती हो रिव्यूअर विल सेंड इट बैक टू अस
It's not a paper. It's a grant. It's a proposal.
In fact, in the committee also, I would not blame the person that they have plagiarized, but I would just say that, oh, it is very similar to something which I submitted a year. So it's up to the committee what they decide.
Okay, last person. Yes. What idea you like? Okay, it is right. See, lot of time, sometimes ethics are so simple, conflicts are so simple. Sometimes it's such a gray area, right? So what this person actually did, what idea is the best idea? So your idea is not a good idea. You should not. Your idea is not a good idea. You should not go and now. First of all, NIH says very clearly you cannot contact the people whose proposals you are reviewing. And you cannot contact the committee that, hey, my proposal is coming in this committee. You can never do that. There'll be strict action. So you cannot contact, you should not contact the person. So the best, and you should not discuss this in the review also. So the best option was to contact NIH and let them know that this happened.
Then decide what to.
Yes, and or just let it go. You know, like she's saying, this is a big shot person in the field. I don't know, will it have a future? Will NIH tell that person that this person said anything against you? Maybe they won't take the name, but maybe scientific community is so small, it's predictable that, okay, I'm working on this area. Somebody in this area must have complained about me. So now you are making a very powerful person your enemy. But this person actually told NIH. Okay. Now, second question, what could be the possible reasons that such a powerful person this happened? Is it an honest mistake, you think? Forgivable mistake? What do you think?
In times of AI, I think if we use any AI tool to tune in our written work,
Yeah.
let's say he did it years back,
Yeah.
putting the same keywords. Maybe his idea was different, but couple of years back, he used the same tool. And now again, maybe I have framed a different raw idea, but my AI tool finalized it in the same way.
Yes.
So it's definitely a forgivable mistake.
Okay. So let's forget this. This was not done in AI time. So let's just forget AI for now.
It could also happen that most of the biggest scientists, their project associate or their juniors, they do their work. And it could also be that that guy would have received that same proposal and might have plagiarized that content. And it is also necessary for that investigator to have that knowledge that some of this content is plagiarized. Because if someone from his lab or his team is doing this mistake, he can pinpoint that. He can point out that, "Ki, acha, tumne kiya."
Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Any additional things we have in discussion?
Plagiarism is even in our industry not allowed.
10% below is allowed in our industry.
Okay. Yeah. Let's not worry how much is allowed, but what else do you think? Yeah. But I think this is more saying a novel idea, like that novelty of how to synthesize something, or
Innovation.
it's an innovation part is what's the discussion.
one of that that because they don't want that curve fall down, and they thought that it was a really good idea, and
Yeah.
they wanted it, and it's rejected first.
Yeah.
And but they just that section is copied, but everything else they have modified it, presented in a better way.
So his answer is the real reason what happened. So when NIH contacted this famous person, they said that, you know, I have this big group. I don't know, the numbers will be on the next slide. Let's say I have 100 people group or 80 people group. To train the people in my lab to become future faculty, I give them proposals to review. So if let's say this famous person was in NIH review panel, she got a lot of proposals to review, and she told her postdocs to train them that, hey, help me review these proposals. And now later on, faculty also ask their postdocs to help writing proposals also. When you get guys help your PIs also to write proposals. Now let's say you ask your postdoc, this person took the section that they earlier got something to review and pasted that section. Now, in PI's defense, how is she going to find out that it's a plagiarized part? Right? I mean, she's reading it and it looks really nice that, hey, I'll do this, then I'll do that. And she's like, oh, very good. I'm proud of you. But she does not know it was copied from there.
The PI as well that she didn't check it or you or
So, yeah, yes and no. So, one thing is, you are trusting. See, then the thing is, Professor Hasija, right? She's a department head also. You guys are doing research for her. How much she can check your day-to-day experiments,
not just
that document, but you copy pasted something from somewhere, unless she's running everything through a plagiarism software, which most people don't run through plagiarism software.
mandatory here. It's a
Oh, okay.
Unpublished work.
Yeah.
Proposals are unpublished. They are not in any database.
Yes.
So this
Actually, you will you can never catch it because you run on a plagiarism system. How will you catch it? But yes, I mean, PIs are at fault also, right? I mean, it's their name that's going, right? Like if you're signing a file and somebody, staff member, wrote something wrong in that file, in the end you are signing that file.
mistake, ma'am.
Yeah.
If something happens in the department, he actually is going.
They're going to get the fame and they are going to get the blame. Yes, you know, with everybody. Yes.
Tell me one thing. What did that person do after they found out that their junior had done this?
Yeah. So we are coming to that. That's the next discussion. That's the next thing we are going to talk, right? So, but now I don't know when this happened. Honestly, I don't remember. But new rule of NIH is new is, I don't know, 5-year-old or 10-year-old. But the rule of NIH is now we cannot take off anybody in reviewing proposals. So if I get proposals to review, I cannot tell anybody in my lab, my students, my postdocs, my friends, colleagues, I cannot say, help me review this proposal. I cannot tell anybody whose proposal I am reviewing. It's all confidential. So maybe in those days, I don't know if it was allowed or not whenever it happened, but that's the rule. So this is what that person said. And that person said, I don't want to disclose the name of that. Now the question is that famous person lying?
That was
question.
or this is the truth what he said, or he got something or she got something to review and copied it themselves to make the proposal. So see, it can be now again debatable topic to deflect and say, hey, somebody did it from my lab. I'm not going to tell the name, but they didn't do it, or they actually did it.
Although morally it is wrong, but why should a famous person put a claim on them just for such a mistake?
No, they're not putting for themselves. They're leaving claim to the unknown
No,
person and
like I'm
saving
saying,
themselves.
Yes.
why will they do it? They obviously will delegate it to someone
No, that's not so.
Yeah,
It
I
shows
mean,
only
they are trying. Yes. So now the question is, do you trust or you don't trust?
There is closed envelope, and do NIH has ethics and ethics?
I really don't know that answer. If they have their own, no. So I think actually I know the answer. I don't think so. NIH would have done this themselves. I think they would have told the university that, hey, this is the situation with your university. So, and universities get a lot of funding. Let's say there are 3,000 professors in the university, and a lot of those are getting funding from NIH. So if NIH will raise a concern and say, hey, from your university, this happened, please look into this matter. I think it's university's responsibility to look into it, not NIH.
Ethics department or the contact information and the email.
In the yes, of the university, because it's an employee of the university who did something wrong. So university should look into that matter. Okay, let's go to the next slide and see what happened. This is an interesting story, So junior scientists immediately notified NIH, then referred the case to the university to carry out inquiry. ABC claimed that he followed a few of his senior students interested in academic careers, because see, now there is another dilemma. How would you train your postdocs and graduate students who want to go to faculty route? See, this senior person can have a genuine thing also. If you are saying, I want to become a professor one day, your PI is saying, okay, help review grants, help write grants. That is training you to become professor in future. So that was his intention. That there are grants, and then that student wrote a research report with future direction for the lab, and he used the research report to write his proposal. But he never disclosed the name of the student, claimed that he took responsibility, and then he would not allow the student's career to suffer. But then something more happened. During the investigation, allegations surfaced that ABC had published a paper that plagiarized an unsuccessful NSF proposal that he had previously reviewed. The overlapping sections included mostly background material, but did also include unpublished data from the NSF proposal. So what it's saying is, she's in trouble right now. We are taking her as an example. So she's that famous person. They found out that she published a paper, and in the paper there was a NSF proposal that she was reviewing of somebody else's, and she used the data from that proposal and put it in her paper and published it. Okay, now it's just a little bit adding up. So then what she did, she submitted the document to the publisher or whatever that agency is, or NSF, and showed that the paper was actually published before she reviewed that NSF proposal. But NSF found out that the date, forensic analysis found out that file had been doctored. So if she said, I published the paper in September and I reviewed the grant in November, they found out that that date on the manuscript was doctored. Because maybe this was olden times, maybe internet was not so common that you can very clearly see the dates when it was submitted, accepted and all that. So they had doctored the date to make it look like her paper was published or submitted before she received the NSF grant. And then they said that the secretary formally accepted the responsibility that the secretary to save the PI had doctored the date. Now what do you guys think?
Has this habit of doing.
That's the way you said it, yes. What else? See now, I mean, earlier that little doubt was there. It's becoming a little bit more difficult to think it. Yeah.
The whole lab is unethical now.
So
Could also be a cover up. Try to cover up the work.
yes, yes. You know, I'm sure, see, maybe the secretary did it, but sometimes graduate student is doing it, sometimes secretary is doing it. Somebody is always taking the blame.
Really taking her position and her authority as the PI of that lab.
Yeah,
That if so much is happening under your guidance.
yeah, yeah.
Under the bag.
Okay, so then what do you think happened, the consequences?
Oh, the secretary of the PI word.
Yes. So what do you think consequences?
Like I'm just guessing. Like if this is the truth, yeah, it's saying.
But how do we know that truth? Like we don't know it's the truth or not.
That's why I said I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
It will be the truth, then
Why would a secretary would do doctor or date change?
actually,
you know?
yeah, that's
What
the
if-
thing.
I mean, it can. See, I'm not saying what happened or what didn't, but
Have been treated with a lot of money and favor in mind.
it can be. I mean, it can be anything, right? So then here was the final outcome. University recommended that ABC downsize his group to 20 co-workers. So university said, because your group is so big, all this is happening, you need to decrease the size of your group. Okay. Then the ABC was prohibited from serving at NIH advisory committee or review group for 10 years. NSF did not issue a finding of misconduct, but in settlement, ABC agreed to not receive federal funding for a period of 2 years. University eventually required that he limit his group to no more than 25 co-workers for a period of 3 years. No students were forced to leave the group. I don't know. So, no doubt ABC students benefited at least in some ways by reviewing proposals and writing proposals. Does this benefit justify confidentiality abuses? Right? Because issue is, see, now NIH is very, very strict. I don't know at that time they were strict or not. Even though as a professor, you know it's a confidential information. Students, postdocs, they are still young, lot of time immature. They might still be blabbering to their friends, oh, you know, I'm reviewing a proposal by this person, you know, my PI gave me a proposal to review for this big shot or whatever. So is confidentiality is getting abused because this person is talking about it with other people and the data is now getting more spread, right, in different ways. So something to discuss, right? Uh, let's go to another case study. It's not here, but let me ask you a question. Let's say you are doing your PhD with the PI and your data is something that you sent to your PI and said, hey, here is what I want in the manuscript. But your PI is telling you to represent that data in a different way. Maybe falsifying a little bit. Now, what do you think would you do? Falsify, kind of. Like, not that, oh, make the graph prettier or make the actually little bit falsify. I remember this because in my exam question in my class, I give this question to students, but we didn't do it yesterday. So I thought I'll discuss. What do you guys think? What would you do?
Like to bring it to the quite a gentle reminder to the PI that this is unethical. I should not be doing, even if I do it because you are saying it, or when we publish it, you and I both can be in a big trouble. So let's.
Okay, that's one suggestion. Anything else?
I'll convince more that I'll do the experiment again and let's see. It's not an interest of
Or,
experiment.
or we can and just tell him you have to cover for the mistake if anyone finds it.
Oh, this guy is okay.
Put the stick on you only that you did it.
Okay, okay. Who? What else? What else? Yeah. Okay. What else?
नोट की उम्र बहुत ज्यादा लंबी नहीं होती.
Yes. Yes.
Experiments are repeated by many.
Yes.
Any repetition in any graduate thesis.
Yeah. So I like your guys' answer. That's what I would do also. But sometimes when I give this question in the class, students are like, I'll go to the HOD, I'll go to the dean. And see, maybe eventually you might have to do that, right? But look at the conflict in your mind that's happening, right? I'm doing PhD. My mentor tells me, hey, falsify the data. I might lose my PhD position. That's the fear. My relationship with my mentor can go bad. So I think the best thing is you just try to convince your PI that, hey, this is not how it will work. This is not the right data.
If he is I mean, if he doesn't,
Yes, 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 yes. No, that's,
He's strong-headed. Strong-headed.
yes.
Could it be a test from PI to check our
Yeah, see,
That is interesting.
that's interesting. I never brought that point. Yes. But if PI does not agree, now next question for you, do you quit that group? Because, okay, it's your first, second year of PhD and this is happening. Your options are accept what PI is telling you to do, or you quit the group, or you go to the dean or the department head or whoever is the next person. I don't know what else is your option. You try to nicely convince your PI, hey, this is wrong, I don't want to do this. PI is not agreeing like he said. Now what do you do?
Quitting, I don't think is a good solution because you don't know the next place that you go, the same might be happening. So don't quit from the
if we
position.
go to the dean, then again that PI
But
will
if he or she is very rigid not to accept it and not to agree that all of this is
So maybe
unethical,
deal and that person would friend.
that
the
is
next
going
to
to
next
But see, this is why this class is so important with discussion, because I didn't think about what you just said. That the, I mean, it's a common sense. Yes, I know, right? And honestly, even if they are not good friends, your relationship can get ruined. Like you are complaining, if I complain about my PI to my dean, now if my PI gets in trouble,
कोई यदि गुड फ्रेंड नहीं भी है तो भी वो अपने कलीग नहीं ऊपर बढ़ते हुए नहीं उनका प्रॉब्लम लाइक स्टूडेंट ने कंप्लेन किया सपोज
they won't take it seriously, right? So now I go back. So what do? So you agree to the PI, you complain, or you quit the group.
Agree, but I would try to take a evidence out of it and maybe use it in future if any allegations come upon me that it was the PR.
But even if you agree and do what they are telling you, won't you always feel bad that, or you will never be happy that your paper is a false paper? Yes.
I have seen all
Okay.
their
Yeah.
second that when going to the but it has happened only when the model
Yeah.
and then the third just say something all the things.
So you have seen everything. See, so I'm so happy then I brought this. I know. And it doesn't matter. I don't want to know the name or who did it, but at least that shows this is not I'm just making up some question. It can happen also, right? Yes.
I could ask my PI that I'm not comfortable with this, but I have huge admiration for him or her. And if he or she could transfer me to another PI, where I can be with my ethics and of his dignity will be maintained. I don't want conflict with him, but I don't want to work with him.
So you are saying you will quit the lab, but you will tell your PI to recommend you a different lab.
या तो कोई कहूँगा कि आप मुझे निकाल दीजिए, और वो भी मुझे आपसे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट मैं ये नहीं करूँगा. आप कह रहे हैं ठीक है, आप बातों का कीजिए, क्या वो मुझे भी ट्रांसफर कर दीजिए. क्या रेफरिंग टू द महाभारत. Krishna and Shakuni both are great politicians.
Yeah.
But one is wrong. And
Yeah.
that one way of the other.
Yeah.
And in that, there are 100 brothers, Kauravas. One person, just before the start of the war, switched the
Yeah.
after seeing. And before switching that side, in the Mahabharata it is mentioned that he met Duryodhan, उनका आशीर्वाद देता है, कहते हैं कि देखो मैं नहीं कर सकता, भाइयों आपसे लड़ूंगा नहीं कभी, but I am going to that side. That is the thing with that PI.
Sure.
Yeah, you are good.
So I feel if I was in that situation, I'll tell what I would do. I would change my lab. And I'll tell you why. So this is our next topic later today, tips and tricks about PhD. Within a first year of my PhD, I'm finding this type of situation. You want mentor-mentee relationship to be very, mentor is your mentor for rest of your life. Like all my mentors I showed you, I respect them so much, I can contact them anytime. Even if your PI agrees with it, do you have any respect or trust in that PI anymore? And what if this will keep happening again and again? Or whatever work they are doing, you just don't even believe in it, then why do you want your PhD in that group? See, complaining, I don't believe in. I don't want to complain, because even if you complain, if your PI gets in trouble, your relationship is anyways ruined. Then surviving in that lab for 4 hours, 4 years, 4-hour ECC loop is still going. So for 4 years with your PI and you not getting along, you complain, got them in trouble, it's not going to be a healthy atmosphere anyways. And PhD needs to be a really good time for you to survive and do well.
There is never स्टूडेंट की परेशानी होती है कुछ भी हो.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'll just change my lab, right? I would like to change my lab so that I don't want to go through all this complaining, and now there's like 2 year long something going on, and you want to get your PhD done also. So you find a PI that is better fit for your the way you think.
यानी ये भी प्रॉब्लम है कि यदि कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया और इन सेम डिपार्टमेंट, क्योंकि यूनिवर्सिटी तो तुरंत चेंज नहीं कर सकती.
You might have to change the university. Yeah, I know. It's complicated, but see, that's why it's conflict of interest, ethic. It sometimes can be very tricky. It's not straightforward also. And I might be wrong also. Maybe this is not the best solution.
Very problematic to change PI.
Yes. Yes.
Complaint. You don't have any solid proof to present in front of any committee.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Let's create a proof and then what.
Yes. And honestly, I tell all the students, PhD is such a long journey. If you feel either you are not enjoying PhD, if you feel you are not getting along with your PI, there is no harm in changing it. Because you don't want to keep suffering and go for 4 or 5 years, do a bad PhD because you were not enjoying, you're not getting along with your PI. Who is gaining anything out of this whole situation?